Before we dive in, it is worth noting there are tens of thousands of plants that fall into the succulents category. Some naturally grow big, some stay small, some are fast growers, while others not so much. Factors that are both in and out of our control will influence how fast and how big a succulent can grow. So what are influencing factors we can't control? Well, succulents like other plants have growing seasons, and so during certain times of the year, succulents will go dormant and will not grow no matter what you do. Weather and climate can also influence how fast or big a succulent will grow. And lastly, natural growth will determine size and speed of growth. Most succulents will grow throughout spring, summer and autumn. Spring and autumn growth depends on how cold it gets in your particular climate. Warmer it is, longer the growing season. There are of course exceptions. Some succulents such as Aeonium grow best autumn to spring and fall dormant in summer. Best and fastest growth happens in spring for the majority of succulents. Mild and warm weather with plenty of sunshine and occasional rain is ideal for growth of succulents. But things can quickly turn once extremes hit. While a lot of succulents will grow well during above average rain, there are varieties that despise high humidity and too much water. These can rot and die fast. Despite many succulents being desert plants, they can struggle and not grow well during heat waves unless you help them out with regular watering. Some succulents are naturally small and slow growing, and nothing will make them grow bigger or faster. Cacti are a prime example. Some species take years, even decades, to reach their full size. So what can we do to help plants grow faster and bigger? Well, we can increase the size of their growing space, repot them regularly, control the quality of potting mix, fertilize and make sure they get plenty of light and water. But let's elaborate a little bit more. When it comes to increasing the growing space and repotting, succulents that have plenty of root space will always grow bigger and faster. This can be achieved by planting succulents in big pots, regularly repotting, or have them growing in a garden. Bigger growing space will always equal more root space and nutrients the succulent can draw on to sustain its growth. Succulents that have limited space and are root bound will never reach their full size. They will also grow very slow. Repotting succulents into a slightly larger pot when the roots have reached the limit of the existing pot will ensure steady, gradual growth. Regular repotting gives you a chance to inspect the roots and make sure there are no root mealybugs, fungus or other nasties hiding out of sight. Most garden succulents will grow much faster and bigger than their potted cousins, provided the soil is of good quality. It is important to remember majority of succulents are not frost tolerant, so this will only work for the frost-free gardens. Now let's move on to potting mix quality. While many succulents will tolerate being grown in poor potting mix, they will never look great or grow as fast and big as succulents planted in succulent potting mix. I have tried many a potting mix and have seen firsthand what quality can do to a plant's growth. The potting mix I get for the nursery is designed specially for succulents and contains all the nutrients they need. The plants always look spectacular and grow at a good rate. If the potting mix is too heavy, contains high nitrogen levels or is too gritty, succulents are unlikely to grow fast or big in it. Moving on to fertilizing, succulents will grow well without fertilizer, but the right kind and amount at the right time will help boost the growth rate and size. The best type of fertilizer for succulents is slow-release fertilizer. Ours is already mixed in the succulent potting mix, you can see the small green balls, and I don't fertilize any more than that. The thing about succulents is that they don't need or like lots of fertilizer, and in some cases, too much or the wrong kind can even harm them. I made a separate video about fertilizing succulents and you can watch by clicking the window above. If you don't fancy watching the video, here are some basics on fertilizing. First, mix slow-release fertilizer in with potting mix or sprinkle a teaspoonful on top of the potting mix. This is called top dressing. If top dressing, only do so in the growing season. Do not use fertilizer with high nitrogen value. The NPP, which is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, should be about 10, 10, 10 or similar. Although nitrogen promotes growth, it can cause splitting leaves in succulents. There is no need to go overboard with fertilizing succulents. If you really want fast growth, a sprinkle on top of the soil once per month in the growing season is plenty. At the nursery, we don't even do that and just let the plants use what's in the potting mix. And light. Light is incredibly important to succulents. Most succulents need an exceptionally bright spot to grow fast and big. Indoors is not good enough for the vast majority of succulents. Succulents will grow fastest and biggest outdoors. Morning sun followed by afternoon shade is ideal, especially if it tends to get too hot during summer. Sun helps succulents and other plants grow through a process called photosynthesis. Different plants have different light needs and some can even photosynthesize in shade. Take the sun and bright light away and growth will slow down. Indoors it can even grind to a halt. If you want your succulents to grow fast and big, bright light outdoors is a must. Now let's talk about water. Watering can be a bit of a controversial issue when it comes to succulents, but I believe they should be watered regularly if they are to grow fast and big. During a drought, succulents will slow down growth so they can conserve energy, but when they are watered once the potting mix dries up, they will keep on growing and won't have to think about self-preservation. It is true that too much water can kill certain succulent varieties, but when the potting mix is given a chance to dry out and is well draining, there should not be an issue. Most of our nursery succulents are grown outdoors even when it rains a lot, and the great majority are just fine. In conclusion, to make succulents grow bigger faster, the plants will need ample space for roots, they will need to get repotted regularly using good quality succulent potting mix with fertilizer, be placed in a bright spot with sun, and they will also need to be watered when the potting mix dries up. Easy peasy. And that's it for today. I truly hope you found this video useful and may all your succulents grow big fast.